and keeping, oh, and now officially being recorded. Thank you, Emily. Emily, we're going to try AI to help us with the test out today.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to see if AI will help us record notes at all better. So as we're talking, say who you are and where you're from, so that we can see if that'll help us come up with a list a little bit better. And I'd like to get started so that people can zoom in and out as their schedules allow. So welcome to our Friday Zoom-ins for 250. I'm Karen Simmons. I head the Chester County Community Foundation, and also we're helping with the community mobilization and activation part of 250. So I would love some introductions, and how about who you are and where you're from? And then this, as far as I can see on this group, you know an awful lot about 250, so I'm not going to go into the details overall unless something comes up in our conversation. How about I just kind of keep that on the screen and we can see who's where. Hey, Bob Sheedy, how are you today?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Actually, Bob, as long as I called you out, do you mind introducing who you are and where you're from? And then we'll turn back and do sort of what's going on for 250 in your part of town in a little bit, okay?
Yeah, so I'm on the Kennett Township Historic Commission, so I'm a representative of sorts, and then we meet monthly to discuss the outcomes of some of these calls and planning in groups, and appreciate the opportunity to interact and get ideas and find ways to collaborate.
Glad you're here, sir. And Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm just fine, folks. I'm Steve Hoftig. I'm from the Westtown Historical Commission.
And you've been doing a lot. We'll circle back and get an update momentarily. And Rick, how are you doing? Would you introduce yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. My name's Rick, and I'm with the Masons of Chester County.
More to come from that. And Jimmer, you're on the line. This is great. I think this might be one of your first Zoom-ins, isn't it? Jim Breen, can you hear us? And can you introduce yourself? All right, Jimmer's driving around on his lunch hour.
Hey,
there
Karen.
you go.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. You want to introduce yourself and tell us what you're interested in here, sir?
Sure. As Karen mentioned, this is my first time joining the meeting. My name is Jimmer Breen, and I'm here on behalf of Westchester's Public Arts Commission, just to see if there's any space in the program for some great public art opportunities.
Nice. D. Plum, could you introduce yourself, please? Okay. Does anybody know D. Plum? We'll find out in a little bit, or we'll see what's going on. Kim Andrews, how are you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Andrews. I'm a facilitator now in Phoenixville with America 250. And right now I am the interim executive director at the Westchester Area Senior Center. So I'm a nonprofit arts and culture consultant primarily.
So your first Zoom in as well. Thank you very much, Kim. And Heather?
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Reifer, and I work with Karen and Kim and Angela on Friends of 250, Chester County 250. And I've been working on various heritage and historic site administration related projects and jobs here in Chester County the last 20 years.
Oh, that's all, just 20 years. Little
Maybe
one.
a couple more now.
No, just 20. Angela. And Ms. Scully?
Hey, how are you? Angela Scully. I'm also working with Karen and Heather and Kim on Friends of Chester County 250, mostly with heritage groups and organizations to build capacity in advance of what we think is going to be an influx of people in 2026, 7, and 8. And prior to this, I was running the Uptown Theater in Westchester.
An incredible endeavor. The Armory is amazing as the theater. You did it.
And I've earned every gray hair.
And Leslie, you just zoomed in just in the nick of time to introduce yourself. Who are you and what organization do you represent? And then we'll come back and go around the 250 stuff momentarily.
Right, I didn't even get a chance to like set everything up here, but
Don't
anyway,
worry.
I'm the president of the Chester County Concert Band. We are a large community concert band that we are located in Westchester, and we perform all over, and we would like to perform even more all over. So we do have one booking already for 2026. Interestingly enough, we have nothing yet for July 4th of this year or next year. So,
Wow.
you know, so we'd really love to get something for July 4th in particular, but the month of July is actually pretty open right now for us. So if anyone has anything in mind, you know, please reach out. I'll put our website in the chat and add that. And just one other thing, we're going to be having a really fun spring concert on Sunday, May 4th, 2:30 at Fugate Middle School in Westchester. And it's road trip across America. So we're going to be making like 16 stops, starting in New York and ending in California, and just going all over, you know, to different states and, you know, playing different state themes or city themes, depending on, you know, what it is. So it should be a lot of fun. So, and our we always do a 50-50 raffle, and our beneficiary is always like a nonprofit organization that is kind of in keeping with our theme. So we're going to be having the Historic Car Club of Pennsylvania will be our beneficiary, and they're going to hopefully have, you know, a few antique cars parked out front. It'd be cool if they could be inside, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but we're going to have all kinds of, you know, really fun decor inside as well. So,
All right, Leslie, since you just zoomed in, I actually am going to pump this a little bit more before we get some updates of what's going on with West Town and Kennett Township and the Masons for 250, and we'll talk about Westchester too. When I went last year to the Fugate, was it only last year, a year ago, to the Fugate
yeah, it
Middle
was just
School
last
concert?
year. Yeah,
Yep,
spring.
I had on my
spring,
250
yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
what I was amazed at was a couple of things. One is it was a full auditorium. It was a sold out event. And the music, I wasn't amazed it was incredible, but I was delighted because sometimes when you think of, you know, concert bands, you're like, oh, what am I gonna, it was amazing. And the other thing is that so many of the people who are in the concert band are music teachers and educators. So they're adults who are volunteering to be in the
Yes.
concert band.
Yeah, everyone's a volunteer, and we have many current music teachers as well as retired teachers, and, you know, lots of current and former students from like Westchester University, Temple University, things like that. So people come from, to be members of the band, they come from all over. You
So
know,
the quality was amazing, the camaraderie was amazing, and also the conductor was sort of like a great MC because he would do the talkbacks to explain a little bit about what was coming up as well. So it wasn't sort of a stifled sort of, you have to pretend to understand the music.
Yeah.
It was approachable yet high quality and warm.
Yeah.
So when you say you want to do performances throughout and get booked, what things would I need? Like if I'm at Nixon Park, can you do something on our amphitheater stage? If I'm
yeah.
at historic at Westtown, Oakbourne, can you perform at those places?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I just wrote to Nixon Park earlier this week, didn't hear a thing. And I've also written to Westtown about performing at Oakbourne. We had played there many
Okay, so
years.
just so in full knowledge, Steve, you're kind of connected with Westtown and Oakbourne? And Bob, you're kind of connected with Nixon Park and Kennett?
Yeah. So
Okay,
I
so
would,
what do you need in order to perform at the concert band?
basically the venue itself. I mean, of course, if it's a place we've not been before, sometimes I like to just check it out, make sure, you know, that parking's okay, and the whatever the venue has enough space for the band. I mean, even though we have over 100 members of the band, typically most of our summer concerts we would have like 65 or so. So the only thing that we ask is that the venue provide chairs, folding chairs. And
So
then
you
we
need
bring-
65 folding chairs for
and
the
that's,
full
yeah, that's
concert.
approximately, yep.
So Leslie, the Pops is another group, Chester County
Different.
Pops.
Yeah, Chesco
Okay, just wanted to
Pops is,
clarify
yeah,
that for
yeah,
everyone.
they are an orchestra.
Okay,
And they play pop music. I mean, we do pop music as well, and marches, and big band, Broadway,
Mhm.
a little bit of classical. I mean, we do kind of everything. And again, as Karen was mentioning, we try to keep our concerts really fun. We have a lot of, sort of jokes or puns or whatever, as
You're very
our
punny.
introductions and that kind of
You
thing.
are
So,
very punny, yes.
yeah, probably too punny, but
No, it's
but
punny.
the audience, it comes to expect it,
And
so.
it's a mixed audience, people of all ages.
Mhm.
Again, a lot of times it's just older folks, but this has all kinds of ages because the people on stage are also all kinds of ages, I think.
Yeah, we have, I don't know if we have, I don't think we have any high school kids right now, but we do have
College kids.
college up through people in their 80s,
Yeah.
which is really wonderful to have everybody work together with
So
that.
65 folding chairs, does it have to be on a formal concert stage like Nixon Park does has an amphitheater?
No, I mean, we can be anywhere. If we have to sit on grass, I mean, we can do it, although it's not as good because sometimes our chairs sort of sink into the ground
Right.
or the grass kind of absorbs some of our sound.
Right.
But sometimes if there's like a sort of a platform stage, for instance, like at East Goshen Park, the band is usually split. So we have like some of the people are on the platform and then others in front. So, we can be pretty creative how we do end up fitting. So,
And you want something with shelter as far as the rain date?
um, every group is different how they do that. Sometimes they actually pick a rain date ahead of time. And then sometimes there's a rain location. And then sometimes, like with Rose Tree Park, when we played there, if it's raining or threatening to rain, it's just canceled, which is
Okay.
always sad, but sometimes these things happen.
Right.
Um,
And then what are the range of fees? How much does it cost?
it really varies. I mean, probably starting for a public performance, we're in the vicinity of 11 to 1200, and then kind of on up. It depends on the length of the concert. Some of our concerts are 2 hours, but that's pretty long. Most of our concerts are about an hour. And if it does go into sort of nighttime, like when we had been playing at Wilson Farm Park for the 4th of July, they have some lighting, but at the end of the night, when the fireworks are about to begin and stuff, we have to have lights too. So we have lights on poles and we have lights on our music stands and stuff. So, we bring everything, and we have a nice sound system as well for some venues that may not have a sound system. So yeah, we kind of come with everything.
Wow.
So, except for the chairs, that's about all that we do not have.
So for anybody who's interested, the May 4th at Fugit on a Sunday at 2:30 in the afternoon, the road trip across America, we would urge them to come because they can really see and hear the concert band in action.
Right.
Go for it.
And you can buy tickets at the door, or we also sell them ahead of time online. It doesn't cost any more to buy them online.
About how much are tickets?
It's only $10 for adults and $7 for seniors and students, and then children under 12 are free. So it's pretty inexpensive for, and that's only for our concerts, like at our fall and our spring concert. All the other
Okay.
ones, as of right now, every other concert is free for the audience. All of our summer concerts and holiday concerts.
So if there's people who are thinking about booking you for the 26, 27 year, especially for the 250 and Songs of Freedom Independence, you would have a special lineup of things like that? How are you getting
Yeah, I
ready
mean,
for that?
we're already planning on our spring concert for next year, 2026, to be heavily patriotic. So then a lot of that music will just kind of go right on into the summer. I mean, not, we're not gonna have every single thing, God bless America kind of stuff, but, we will have a combination of things, but we will have definitely a little bit more patriotic than possibly we normally would. So it will be a true red, white, and blue concert. I mean, even this one, Road Trip Across America,
It is. You can put
we'll
a
have
250 logo on that one. Come on, Em.
So,
Yeah,
so we'll have some patriotic things for this concert as well.
okay. Are there any other questions I didn't think to ask Leslie that can help give information for people who are interested in considering concert bands during 2026?
Well, one thing I do want to give is a shout out to Uptown, just there last night for a concert, great location. But a lot of people don't realize that is directly across from the Westchester Historic Society's building.
The Chester County History Center is its
That's,
new
yeah, I
name
always
now.
get that name wrong. So the
I
Chester
know,
County
they
History
changed it
Center.
on you, Bob, yeah.
Which is, again, could talk all day about the wonderful thing they do in that group. But if you're tying, that group together with a music venue, they're right across the street from each other. You could potentially put both of them together on one event.
Well, they have done that in the past and will continue to do that. And
And you
also
know-
across the street is the old Athenaeum, which was used as an
Yes.
opera house.
Right,
Yep.
right. And as we, you know what, Bob, as we're doing the community convenings, Kennett and Westchester are the first two that we're starting at next month. So we got some partnerships that are coming up. Yeah, good. Okay. Interesting.
Because I
So-
think these connections are so valuable and hopefully will have a long-term impact.
Yeah. I'm wondering, we got Kennett, we got Westchester, we have Westtown, and Dave Plummer, you're Chad's Ford, no, Hank, you're Chad's Ford. And Dave, where are you from? I didn't get that before. So I'm just wondering if we can have some conversation about what's going on and what you're thinking of. And Steve, you've been doing some convenings in Westtown. How is that going with the 250?
Our next meeting, it's going fine. Our next meeting is a week from tomorrow. And this is our follow-up to
Okay.
the initial meeting that we had. And at this meeting, we plan to have people start considering what if they would like to participate in a steering committee, because what we're looking for is a small cadre of people who can communicate back to their groups. So for example, if a church or the school system is participating, we'd like to have one person, which can be rotated, who will communicate back between us and the group, because we're everybody's time is precious, and neither can we accommodate meetings of 200 people. So we're trying to structure something that will enable us to communicate back to these various groups, including other commissions, for example. So I think I mentioned this example before. Many of our township commissions have all sorts of awards and events and things that happen throughout the year. So we're asking that they consider, for example, one of them has a photography contest. So we're suggesting that they come up with a version of that contest that is appropriate for PA 250. And so maybe their entire group would work on that sort of thing, but only one person would communicate back and forth with us as to how we would coordinate this with what else we're doing.
So other ideas and what kind of folks are coming to their meetings? What constituent groups are represented?
We invited all the various commissions. We invited some of the businesses. We invited business and landowners. For example, the fellow who owns several businesses in the township, including the Amish market out on which people probably know about on Route 202, is a very strong participant.
Hmm.
And we had the director of the school district come in. I'm expecting representatives from the Westtown School. So we've also invited churches to attend. So two of the churches sent larger churches with large congregations. One in particular has a congregation of, I think, about 1,700 members. They're very active in the community. So and they put on weekly lectures, for example, in their facilities that are free to the public. So that's the kind of thing that we think that we can cooperate with. And so in the idea there is that since Westtown is not a township with a central city, we have no main street. We're not a parade and fireworks place, but we've got a lot of history. So what we want to do is we want to take advantage of all the various organizations in the township that already have things that they normally plan throughout the year to coordinate, and in that way inform the residents as to what's going on a monthly basis next year. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. It's keep moving forward, which is terrific. Yeah, yeah. Rick, what do you have going on with the Masons these days?
Statewide, we're in the process of changing leadership. And the upcoming leaders don't want to step on the current leaders' plans. So there's not much going on statewide. However, locally, we're a group of men and we also have a youth group, and we're very much dedicated to service. So what we're hoping is that all the other organizations will share what you need, you know, and we're a group that can help set up chairs, help with parking, help with the planning of events and all that, that if we could have a email list of the different groups. I know that townships in the local area are starting to put together their committees and projects and all. We would like that, as far as, I can start reaching out to the different groups now and see what we can do to be of assistance.
I wonder if it'll help if you take a look at the events that we have posted on the 250 upcoming events website. And Emily,
Okay.
can you put the link in there? Because that way you can take a look and say, oh, these are some events the Masons might want to get behind and help volunteer.
Okay,
And
I can.
geographically and program and the target market might actually fit. Emily, can you put the link to that in there? Because there's programs, even like Leslie's coming up. They're there now, especially. Yeah. And I'm also wondering with the Lafayette folks, if Bruce Mowdy could use some Masons as volunteers. Are you connected with that?
Yeah, we've had Bruce speak several times, but we also have an author speaking next month, the end of next month at Kennett, who is he's wrote a couple books.
It might be Bruce.
One of them, what's that?
Is it Bruce? The Lafayette
No,
and the
no,
Cavalcante book?
it's a gentleman with the last name Ruse, who wrote a book about Lafayette, and he's a researcher and all. I will check if that event is public.
That'd be
And if
great.
it is, I'll send in the information that can be posted on
Yep,
the website.
because all these townships are always looking for content. Elected officials are always looking for content, so it doesn't
Okay.
cost anything for you to send it to them.
Yeah, we also have a local person who impersonates George Washington and does a whole program involving Washington.
So Heather's going to reach out to you for that. I could see you writing it down. So can she reach out, because folks are definitely starting to ask, especially in the school groups too.
Okay,
And I'm just thinking, Leslie, there's a
well,
there's a fit there.
I'll put my
Yeah.
contact information in the chat.
Yeah, and Heather's going to follow up with you to see, because we're getting more and more requests, and if we can put some kind of link on the website and be able to direct folks. We're coming up with a list of folks who do either reenactment things or dress up in garb and go do speaking engagements. So Heather and
Nice.
Emily will connect so that we can get that out there. That would be terrific.
Look forward to it.
Excellent, very good. Bob Sheedy, you want to update folks on what's going on in the southern part of our county? And you know what? We have Hank Summer on here, who we should put on our list for the Kennett Chadsworth convening that we're thinking about. Hank, I don't know if you heard anything about that yet, but
No, I've not. That'd
and
be
do you know
great.
Bob
Thank
Sheedy
you.
at all? Let's do some intros right here, Bob.
Hi,
Yeah.
Hi,
Hank.
Bob. I'm Hank. I'll get my face on here in a second.
There we go. Thanks, Hank.
Hey.
Yep. I just added add Hank Summer to the Kennett convening list. So Bob, why don't you give an update if you don't mind?
Yeah, we actually had Karen come to a Kennett Township Historic Commission meeting. We do this once a month, and it could be anything from, looking at properties that need to be saved to planning events. We just had a speaker come in and talk about house designs. And really what we're looking at is trying to localize some of the planning activities away from the conceptual and countywide to, what can we do locally? And we were able to also get a one-on-one meeting with Karen and a representative from our township, who Caitlin is really wonderful, a young girl who's really dedicating herself to try to take some of these things from concept to activities, and trying to figure out what the township can and can't do, what resources they could bring to bear. So it was kind of the whole crux of what this all started as, to kind of move into task force. But and we're kind of, it's great that, and thank you, Karen, for taking time out to kind of present to our township and present to our commission how we can do that. And I think one of the big takeaways is we're able to kind of brainstorm a pretty broad list, everything from people in political office to people in our YMCA, people in our commercial operations like Longwood Gardens, that we're we're going to reach out to them and say, listen, this is coming, and you're probably going to do your own thing, and this person's going to do their own thing. But if we coordinate, communicate, and that's nothing but a good thing. And not sure how it's going to all shake out or who all is going to take a stand in it. But I think, first of all, big shout out to Karen for really doing the legwork on this and getting all of this set up, kind of taking what we're doing here and moving it into a community-based discussion. So we're still in the kind of planning and execution stage of that. And Karen, you could probably speak more to that as well.
You're doing great. Yeah, and I'm going to thank Emily, because she's been tracking down all the who's what's. What we're doing is this planning tips that's on the screen. I don't know, can folks kind of see it? We're just going to run through this on first we'll start out with Zoom sessions, and then when people want to meet face to face, of course, there's plenty of folks, and we've gotten some co-conveners to be able to help us get the invitation out. Plus we'll put it on social media. So as Bob said, it's a bunch of constituent groups. Oh, here's our invite, actually. Look at that. And we're doing this in Kennett, Westchester, Phoenixville will be on the docket pretty soon. Malvern Paoli, Coatesville, and actually Historic Yellow Springs has just asked for one as well. So wherever there's enough density of folks who have heritage things going on, who want us to come out and help. And Steve, you were the one who really started us on this, and the fact that you took it off and run with it is terrific. So it's the same model to get together a bunch of community people. Will help then get out the list of all the different constituent groups who could be invited to start to zoom in to make history. And it's not just the history and heritage folks in each region. It's, as Bob said, a range of constituent groups. And then we're inviting them to zoom through. What do you got, Angela?
I was going to say, and Bob, you really honed in on something that I think it's very important. It is about the community doing something. don't assume that somebody else is going to come in and do something and celebrate 250. It's very much a people powered.
Yeah,
And to be truly authentic, it's going to be people powered from your community. So, yeah, that's
it's community mobilization time. We're
my
taking
offer.
these Zooms that we've been doing countywide and going to very specific areas of the county. And we're really obviously pushing the whole idea that, okay, this is the 250th. So the Philadelphia campaign region in the fight for independence is the overarching theme. And in some areas that aren't within that place, then the fact that, we're feeding a country and we fed an army and we have iron and steel and industry that started this in the Commonwealth. And again, literally helped forge our freedom. And still it has a lot to do with the industry in the area. And that unfinished business on which turned into the Underground Railroad and the unfinished business and unfinished revolution and the Tubman Byway, civil rights, suffrage, that's all part of it. But the focus is really the Philadelphia campaign, lessons learned then that resonate past, present, and future. So as we do these convenings, people will be able to figure out what makes sense for them to do and how to partner. And for some, it's really just the basic on our rights as citizens and our responsibilities.
Well, and I think the temptation is to say, well, that's pretty complicated for something so simple. And what I've kind of tried to argue on my side of the fence is, if we do this well, it should live well beyond the 250 celebration. Part of this is education, which is always an issue. Part of this is celebration, which is never a bad idea. And all of it's coordination, which again, if a community is going to stay healthy and thrive, there always has to be coordination. So if this is a wonderful excuse to get people who tend to work independently to talk together and coordinate and share ideas and resources, hey, let's take that opportunity. If I have a magic wand, this thing will live on for the next 10 years.
There will be partnerships developed and a sense of community heritage, understanding of our past, a respect for where we are now and where we're going together in the future. And when I really get to the whole aim of 250, that's it. Our mission is really, it's right up here, to inspire and engage everybody to figure out how we made a difference to found this country and our continuing journey. So yeah, it couldn't continue. So that's what we're mobilizing in Kennett. What do you think, Hanks? We're deciding to call it Kennett and Chad's Ford because when you look at the path, so many of the resources as we marched up Route 1 lead to the Brandywine.
Yeah, so just to piggyback on the last comments, we've been sort of in the position, much like Westtown, but a whole lot smaller, of not having a main street or a main area. We're sort of on 1 and 202, and you have to work your way in to
Yeah.
get to our township. So we have been in conversations, and shortly I'll be able to talk more specifics about 2 or 3 entities within the Chadds Ford area
Good.
to have a collaborative engagement. So we're going to be having those meetings later this month. So
Excellent.
hopefully next month I can come back with some information and some details and sort of what our vision is going to look like, incorporating both the historic sites, the township purview with our history, and the battlefield, which is key to this whole conversation.
Yep. Yep. Good. So we're getting toward the same path and you got some partners and you're right, you've got the spaces. And every time the conversation comes up in Kennett, it leads towards Chadds Ford as well.
We're just down the road. So we look
Got
forward
it.
to that engagement, also learning more about what Kennett's doing as well.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Okay, great. And I see Dan Campbell just zoomed in. Hey, Dan, how are you? Once again, I went past Strode's Mill, back and forth today. It looks gorgeous.
Thank you. I was just working on some drawings for the new trail that's going to be there.
You want to talk about the trail? We had a question last night in one of our group about what's connecting it and how long it'll be. Would you mind introducing to the group what you've been doing over at Strode's Mill? Because it's ready for 250, isn't it? You're getting ready.
I think they're trying to aim for that target date. They have a civil engineering firm that's designed a trail there. They did some previous stream restoration and plantings and so on, and interpretive signs. There's going to be a bridge with a trail coming from the barn and heading up towards Westchester South Campus. There is some sort of trail that comes out of the South Campus, which they want to connect to.
Yeah, there is. I drive by that one too. That's terrific.
There's a sign for that, but I haven't been on it.
Right.
So there's a foundation next to the barn that was the sausage factory, and it's a big retaining wall now. They hope to have a little outdoor interpretive center there for the history of the area, the sausage operation, and the Brandywine battlefield.
I love it.
They're
Sausage and scrapple, Dan, come on.
scrapple, of course, yes. They so Rich Pfeiffer from East Bradford Township has been very instrumental in getting a lot of grants for that effort, on the outdoor effort.
Very good. It's looking great. So it'll be open by 2:50. This is terrific.
We're hoping so. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Kim Andrews is on here because she's going to be helping us mobilize Phoenixville. And I also see from Phoenixville, Bob Trate, I'm guessing with the Colonial behind you, you're going to talk about Phoenixville, right? And this is your first Zoom in for 250. So we're new to you. What do you know about 250? And we got to have you meet Kim, by the way, and all of us. So you zoomed in for.
I was on a while ago. It's just Fridays are rough on us because it's like our first day of the week. So it's
Yeah.
hard to hop
Weekends.
in because we're getting ready for shows and concerts. But we are we're actually looking we've got a film series. Unfortunately, there's outside of 1776, there's not too many movies about Philly and the independence and everything that aren't, most things are TV series. You know,
Yeah.
George Washington comes to light. I grew up with George Washington, the series, so I mean, I know that one left and right. But we're actually starting in August. We're going to announce in July. We're doing a Philadelphia film series where a different film every month will focus on the city of Philadelphia. So we're going to go back as far as 1940 right now, all the way up to 1999, and going to try and focus on. It's got to be set in Philly. You know, it's obviously going to be a crowd-pleasing film that people are going to want to come out. But we're going to connect the film series and then hopefully be able to promote 250 as we're doing it. That's the reason why we're doing it, is to promote 250 as we move on.
So you're starting with Philly this August and moving on for the whole year to move.
Yeah, we're going to do, it's not hard to do one a month.
No.
Just across our programming. Is it a classic movie? Is it a horror movie? Is it a musical, drama? There's so many. And then once we get into 2026, we're going to intensify and try to do at least two when we can. Like right now with Macy's closing, I really want to show 12 Monkeys and Mannequin, because you really get to see the organ and, you know, the store itself and everything. But we're holding off on both of those until next year.
Right. So you're adding an overlay to what you're already doing and really just trying to intensify as it gets closer to. Yeah. And you're saying things that you would have shown now, but you're going to hold off and put it in there so it fits into the beautiful.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
that is
Bob, this is Hank Summer. Just to tease us, do you have any not tips, things you want to share with us? Some of those potential movies coming around?
Well, the films, off the top of my head, if I can remember the first five, it's Witness, Philadelphia Story, The Sixth Sense,
Yep.
Rocky, the first one, because the studio will probably pull it next year because 1976 features so heavily in the film, and it's also going to be the 50th. So we're getting it in November, and then we'll end the year with Trading Places.
Oh,
so quintessential Philly.
Yeah, very, very Philly. So, but we're looking at, like I said, Mannequin, 12 Monkeys, probably doing another M. Night movie.
Yeah.
And then there's some romantic comedies and things we want to do. In Her Shoes is another one, Philadelphia Author. And then we're also thinking of spotlighting David Lynch as a Philadelphia, after he passed away, we ran one of David Lynch's films, but then we were discussing for his 80th birthday, doing a day of David Lynch and getting the art community involved. So we're talking about doing that in January, 2 days before his birthday, or what would have been his 80th birthday. So Lynch just might take over January as our Philadelphia tribute.
Interesting.
So, but we would like, we are open to the idea as we get closer. We do have 3 screens here doing
Yeah.
some sort of performance. I remember that being mentioned before. But when you show something like the Patriot, it ties to the era, but it doesn't really tie too much to Philadelphia. So we really want to focus on the fact that we are the birthplace of America, and Valley Forge is just right over the hill and such. So
Interesting. Ideas? More to come.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we're open. Like, hey, email
Yeah.
me.
But
And
also, is there any thing around? I'm thinking of Valley Forge when they're talking about what they're doing. They're trying to expand it to make it a quote unquote experience.
Mhm.
So, is there anybody in Phoenixville that would, participate in some way, either a shared meal, something like that?
Yeah, we would love to
Oh,
partner stuff. We do edible cinema quite often,
yep.
where we partner a movie with a
Oh,
meal.
I love edible cinema. I love it.
Yeah, we just did 2 with Bridge Street Chocolate down the street. So we've
Right.
done Amelie, we've done Chocolat, we've done Moonstruck with the Greek restaurant in town. No,
Right.
it was a charcuterie. Sorry, we did Greek restaurant with Mamma Mia. So we are
Uh-huh.
open to those kind of ideas, and then pitch me your idea, I can make it work.
I think Witness
Interesting.
is one of the most beautiful films. I love that movie.
Love
Peter
Witness.
Weir. Yeah.
Mm, interesting. Oh yeah, we're gonna have fun. And I think Rob Williams and Angela are gonna come up and really try to push some Valley Forge connections with you too, Bob. Just
Okay.
saying, Kim, Keith, and Rob's in the other room. He doesn't even know we're talking about him.
Yeah, please. Yeah, the
yeah.
more connections we can get, to the area.
Yeah.
Great Victory was shot here at Valley Forge in
Right.
Phoenixville, in Philadelphia is another one, and we've run it twice in the last 3 years, so we could probably hold off again and do it. If we I think Bob Sheedy was talking about like expanding this and keeping this going,
Yes.
and let it have legs, that we
Yep.
could, bring that back too and do it, because, Valley Forge is right there, and the hospital was integral part World War II and Korea. So
That is true. That is true. This is a stupid little aside. Emily, can you reach out to Bob and see our little trailer that we had, the 250s coming and all the blooper reels? We would love to be able to play those at the Colonial, and I don't know what the opportunities would be, just for, between and above. So Emily, we've been looking to see if we can do some of that in the local theaters. So
yeah,
Okay.
That's great.
trailers. We got great video and we're making more. So we just found it.
please, Emily, send me that, and then I can also, I'm talking to it used to be the Regal 24 there in Oaks, and now it's the
Yeah.
Cinema something 24. I'm talking to them on Monday, so they may be up for it too, and getting them
Oh,
involved.
that's great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Jimmer, you want to say anything about Westchester and what you're thinking of and looking at? And I'm going to ask Rob if he wants to come in. So I'm going to disappear for a moment. Wait, Jimmer, are you able to come up and let us talk?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Mostly I just wanted to come today to listen a little bit. As I mentioned, it's my first meeting, and I wanted to just kind of get my bearings on, what different events and organizations are involved. I'm with Westchester's Public Arts Commission, and we have in the past orchestrated some projects for some significant public art, and I feel like this celebration is a great opportunity for public art for this anniversary to leave a mark. There's been talk today about things going on beyond the initial celebrations, and what better way to do that than with a mural or some type of permanent public art piece. So again, I was just kind of here today to listen and kind of get my bearings on things, and it seems like I'm glad to see so many people here from different parts of the community and things starting to kind of gel and come together.
Okay, Jim, I just did the thumbs up on you. I don't know if you saw that. The enduring mural and public art piece.
Yeah.
Boy, we could do that throughout the county, couldn't we?
Sure.
What kinds of things? Come on, artists here. I mean, what kind of public art is
Well,
sort of What would it take to do something that would be a great public art piece throughout the county?
Well, I can tell you the Public Arts Commission has made a little progress on developing a project that utilizes some historic photographs. We've been working with the History Center and got access to a really wonderful collection of photos of folks on the street. They're very candid shots. They were taken in the 19th century, so they're not quite 1776, but they do have this vibe of historic photos. Mm-hmm. And what I really appreciate about them is that they just show average people who aren't even really out to have their photo taken. So it's a very relatable, very good representation of the community and just everyday life. So a mural could be created simply from these photos. And there's different ways to do it. You could have the photo painted onto the wall. You could have the photo printed on vinyl and then mounted onto the wall. There's different techniques and avenues depending on the wall and the budget and, the 1,000 other factors that come into play.
I tell you what comes to my mind when you speak is one of the things we talked about with the township is how do we get the younger generations involved in this kind of discussion? We talk you have one of these seminars and lectures and, you don't have anybody under a certain age. So we talked about doing readings in the school, which came up in one of these groups. I see it as a great opportunity to kind of partner with the schools to create public art projects that kids always love to get involved with. Either creating ideas that get selected or getting involved in the actual painting of some of these public works. The township could create a public blank space that would just be short-lived. I see it as an opportunity to maybe tie in the school systems.
When I was at the Darlington Arts Center, we did a totem. Mm-hmm. So we did bring Lincoln University in, and then they have a group of Lenni Lenape who came in, and the kids came and participated in the design of it, and not so much using the sharp tools, but they were helpful. So that whole concept of designing something, because of course you could always have the clothesline exhibit and all of those things for young people, but I love the idea of something that's left behind.
The lasting public art, that really resonates. And I have to say, the commissioners of Chester County are trying to figure out what they can help support that would have a lasting legacy.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't cost a lot, let's be clear. Because we're also trying to do some, heritage site renovation for the heritage tourism. But I could see public art really, involving a lot of folks, a lot of constituent groups, and having that lasting message.
Well,
it's one for people can easily kind of rally around, and I appreciate what you said about the targeting younger folks.
Teens, yeah.
I've been around the block with various organizations that are steeped in history, and it's not a very young audience often. So from an educational standpoint, I think it's a great vehicle.
Interesting.
And I just want to put in a great word for that, Jimmer. I was at the Fund for Women and Girls after you did the suffrage mural and before the anniversary.
Right.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but in Westchester, the Fund for Women and Girls put a women's suffrage mural up. And it not only is it, it's like a lot of women, I know women who take runs there on election day. People meet there because it's such a marker for women's voting rights, and that young people to testify for Jimmer's idea, that young people loved it. We had lots of girls programs who wanted to meet there. We had Agnes Irwin School would take a tour of Westchester and they would go to the suffrage mural. So the students and the young people that we worked with were really drawn to it and would use it as a gathering place to meet each other or as they're doing other activities. So I mean, a public art and a public mural like that, you know, I've seen the effect it has on younger people or younger stakeholders.
I think you all hit on a great idea.
I would also add Longwood Gardens to that. That's a group of people that are very passionate about visual arts, obviously. But what a lot of people don't realize that Longwood Gardens owns and plans to eventually incorporate a number of historic properties, including ones that are tied into the abolitionist movement, Battle of Brandywine, and also some of the Quaker meeting houses, although they tend to not promote art in those. There might be an opportunity where they might want to incorporate a piece of art into some of the buildings that they hope to open over the next couple of years.
Dan, public art at Strode's Mill. Wasn't there something exterior that we were thinking there? I forget. I mean, aside from just the mill being incredibly public,
They were talking about a sculpture.
I thought there were for a while, weren't they, Dan? At Strode's Mill, an exterior sculpture? Interesting.
They've got a little spot in the center of the courtyard for something with benches around it.
Yeah, interesting.
There was some talk of a cannon. But it's been a while, so I don't remember the details.
Some rendition of Jamie Wyatt's pig painting seems appropriate for the setting.
Be awesome.
Oh, Jimmer.
3D version.
Jimmer, go to Chad's board. Go to Hank's. Come on, Hank. We'll
Yes,
put
there was
public
a-
art on the side of Hank's.
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Summer.
I believe there was a pig weather vane on the top of it at one time.
Interesting. All right, I just wrote down some names for a countywide public arts thing. So Jimmer, you might have and I know Colonial, I mean, there's some great public art in Phoenixville, and who's in charge of the murals in Phoenixville, and Oxford, we know who's in charge of the murals in Oxford, and even Bob with in Kennett in the library, the
Yes.
public art they put on the side because
do?
they had to display some. Yeah, Jimmer, I'm glad you're here. Interesting.
Great.
Thank you. All right, we got 5 more minutes, and you got some great ideas to share. And Chaz Wargo, I saw you just zoom in, and I know that we're almost done. Do you have anything you wanted to share, or you were just kind of listening in for the last few minutes? Chaz? Going.
I couldn't find my unmute, sorry. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to listen. I tried to be on these things about 3 different times. And I'm glad I finally got on today. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm with St. David's Church. Our church stems back to 1700. So we have a number of Revolutionary War soldiers in our cemetery, about 25 of them. And we think we're going to focus on that and provide some information about that and some other things. We do speaker series. We're going to have somebody come and talk about the Declaration of Independence and freedom of religion. We have a law professor coming. So we're excited about this 250. If I can make a recommendation,
Please.
if anybody has any connection to the city of Philadelphia, goose them a little bit so that they pay more attention to this thing, because I don't hear a lot of stuff coming out of Philadelphia. I do with Chester County, which is wonderful. You guys are fantastic. I do some with Delaware County. But thanks for having me in today.
Chaz, I'm glad you can make it in, and if you want to stay after. Angela, do you do any work with what Chaz is talking about as far as you said which organization, Chaz, with the
You're with St. David's Church.
I'm with St. David's Church, which is in Radnor.
I know it well.
Oh, good. Okay. Hi, Angela.
Hi, my art league used to meet there, and I've done a lot of
thinking.
plein air there. Your burial ground is really quite wonderful and historic, and people don't you've never been in the church there, the old church. It's a wonder.
Yeah, the old church was built in 1715, but there was activity even before that. Our first burial in the cemetery was 1716, I think it was. But the connection that we have to the soldiers, I think, is important for us, and we're trying to emphasize that. We're going to have a tour of some sort. We're trying to put that together now with probably some sort of paper leaflet that'll be available, and then we'll try to use a QR code to allow information to be disseminated on on your telephone as well. In 1976, the church was pretty active, and they actually had docents for that celebration. We thought that was a lot of work for us. We're all volunteers, as you can imagine, and we didn't want to spend all our time putting the docents together. But we think if we do a pamphlet, that'll help. And there's some real history there. Anthony Wayne is the most noted individual that we have buried at the church, but there are a number of other officers and enlisted men that are involved. And then obviously some of the wives too, who had some sort of involvement in the Revolutionary War. So that's our focus, and that and the Declaration of Independence. The speaker we're having for the Declaration of Independence is really a premier individual. She's an expert in it, and she's
What's her
she's
name?
Emily Sneff.
I knew you were going to say
Emily?
that.
Oh, do you know her?
Yeah, we were
everybody
just going
knows
to
her.
talk
See?
about Emily. So what do you
See,
have her
she's good.
doing? What are you having her do?
She's going to just do an explanation on the Declaration of Independence. Her background is marvelous. If anybody's
Yeah, it
interested
is.
in using her, and she's doing a number of readings around the area. I'm not sure where. We're not actually focused on July 4th primarily because we didn't want to be involved in that kind of schedule. We thought we'd be competing with too many other people. So I
Right.
think she's doing it on the 16th. We do our speaker series on 3 Wednesdays during July, and she's a premier one for us.
Wait, are you
And
doing
she's a
her during
delightful person, as you
2025
all
or
know.
2026 or both?
I'm sorry?
You think Emily's coming in July 16th, 2025?
2026.
2026. You guys are
Yeah.
working ahead. Good
Yeah.
for you.
And
Well,
you
that's the
make sure you
celebration, we
put these
think.
things
So
on the calendar, Chaz.
I'm
Emily
sorry.
Dina is going to reach out to you so that we can help promote
Oh,
that.
okay.
Okay.
All
Emily
right. Yeah, that's
Dina,
fine.
fine Chaz.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. And the other person we're using too is Mike Moreland. He's a law professor at Villanova University. He's an expert on the First Amendment, which is freedom of religion. Because we're a church, we thought we should
Right.
do something with that. He's a delightful speaker. Has done speaking at the Constitution Center and
Right.
is considered an expert in this. So we're very excited about having him as well. And we have another individual that I'm still lining up because 2026 is still luckily a year and a half away. This summer, we're doing more local oriented people for the speaker series, but it's open to the community. The church does it kind of as a community thing. We're not going to proselytize. We're not going to try to grab anybody and make them come to the church. The whole idea is to just offer something to the community and we don't charge for it. We try to scrape up some money to give honorariums if we have to. But most of the people that do it typically say, yeah, I'll do it. It's a church, no problem.
Well,
I'm
Joe,
glad so many people
glad
know
you-
Emily Sneff. She's just such a nice person.
Well, so I'm glad you zoomed in because I want to have Emily Dima follow up with you so that we can get the events you just talked about so that we can really start to calendar them in.
I suggest that
help
she's
promote
probably
'em.
very much in demand.
Well, yeah, actually, we're going to send out information on Emily Neff to everybody. And she's actually, this is a project, I don't know if y'all can see our screen, the Dare to Declare. So Rose Fennell is the superintendent of Valley Forge National Historic Park. And she had this idea that she has now shared with everybody. And she's urged us in Chester County to take it on as a Dare to Declare project. And the Montgomery County Convention and Visitors Bureau is taking on as a Houses of Declaration project. Emily Neff is involved with it because she's helping to keep it all organized. And it harkens back to having people read aloud the Declaration of Independence. And for us, we're saying all over the summer, 2026, but each community can do what it wants. And at any different places, any place, whether it's a formal thing at a university or a theater or a library or an informal thing, family picnics, community picnics, historic sites, houses of declaration, parks, to be able to read the Declaration of Independence aloud and then talk about it. So Emily is doing a series of train the trainers videos that we're going to try, and they are running this May in 3 separate nights. It's $15 a piece to sign up. Plus, we're going to try to engage her to come up with a train the trainer video just for sort of Chester County as well. And that way we can, and anybody, because there will be questions that come up when you talk about the Declaration of Independence. It's a it's a rather incendiary document. It's the biggest divorce decree ever.
And also Emily's gets the wording of it is sometimes weighty, and she's gonna, talk to us about how to read it and where the emphasis should be. I think it's as Rose Fennell said, it's not just revolutionary, it's incendiary. And she said, ask me when was the last time I read it, and I said fifth grade. And so I listened to it because if you have a podcast platform, they usually have someone, whether it's an famous actor or just a regular person, who's reading that you can listen to the Declaration of Independence. And I urge you to do it because given the times that we're in, it's a very, very prescient document.
Incredible document. It basically lists all the complaints against the king. It's incredible when you read
It
it.
is.
And you think he must have been really mad when he got this and read it himself.
There's a reason he ignored it.
Yes.
And I actually found one of my favorite ever readings of the Declaration of Independence. And Emily, I don't know if you can grab it and put it in the chat link. It's also on our resource page, but it was done about a decade ago. And it starts out with, it's all done in Independence Hall. And it starts with Mel Gibson. And they shift over to Whoopi Goldberg's in it and Michael Douglas. Has anybody seen that one?
Well, Douglas's relative actually was one of the initial readers of the Declaration of Independence over
right.
in Moorestown, New Jersey.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
That's
Yeah.
what you get if you listen to PBS.
Okay, that does it. That does it. So our Dare to Declare webpage is almost done, as well as I don't know, are you able to find the link? Because I was trying to find it real quickly because it's a great document to go out on, gotta say.
I just put it in the chat.
Where'd it go? It takes
The
9
YouTube
minutes and
video?
14 seconds to look at, and it is to listen to, and it's incredibly inspiring, most definitely. So I do urge you, and again, that's something that I don't know, with the colonial, what can you do with that kind of stuff? Can you, I don't know film rights and all, it's just on YouTube right now. Is that something that's even worth, Bob?
It's all weird. And I
It is
literally
weird.
just came from a high school where I was doing, this is what I do for a living, and explaining to them that half the time nobody knows who has rights to anything, and I can
Right.
spend days and weeks trying to find the rights to something, and then it's like no. But it's one of those things that sometimes it's just PBS has it and they're fine with it, and then it's digging further and further to see, oh, it's ABC has it, which is owned by Disney, so then you're like, oh, okay, well then we got to talk to Disney, and will they allow it?
Right, yeah. And so that's
It's a
where I go
nightmare.
back to. It's an
It's a nightmare.
incredible 9-minute and 44-second rendition of the Declaration of Independence. And it just seems to resonate like crazy.
I'll look into it and see what I can come up with.
That would be amazing. Yes, if you could. Because, yeah, how do we get that out there? And on our Dare to Declare page, which I finally found on our website, again, which we're not quite ready to have folks sign up for the Dare to Declare. We figure we'll push it like crazy later. Is it at the bottom? Yeah, you said it's celebrities read the Declaration of Independence. I don't know if people can see the webpage, but it's that one. You see it? That's where it is. And Emily sent the link to it. It is fantastic. So highly recommended. And this is also, we'll send out the Emily Neff information as well, because it's pretty amazing. So this has been a real helpful call. And Chad, I'm glad you found her and I'm glad you booked her already. So yeah, more to come on that. And again, reading the Declaration of Independence and understanding it and sharing it so that people can really understand what's going on. The more we can deepen that, the better.
I just wanted to make one comment.
Please, Leslie.
I'm hoping to possibly combine the reading of the Declaration in one of our concerts, like maybe, part of it would be read, we'd play whatever piece, and another section, something like that. So we're really hoping to look into something like that for next year. So whether a celebrity type reader, or I would love to have, like some maybe middle school or high school kids, read some some parts of it. We'd love to get some kids in.
So, just so you know, one of the things that's on Emily Dina's to-do list is this Celebrities Read the Declaration of Independence. As they passed it around from person to person, you can see they broke it off into different parts that resonate and make
in the
sense.
course of human events.
So, oh, somebody just found it. So we're gonna put on our website, we'll take it so that's the whole thing and it's gonna be scripted on a different PDF page. So that if you do something like that, you can readily, just have it, each person has their section in order. So you don't have to divide it because the way they did it obviously is stellar.
You could have a flash mob.
Yeah, because you want to be able to pass it around so different people can read different parts. It's a long document and it
Leslie,
resonates beautifully.
Leslie, we're going to do the same thing. And I agree the flash mob approach is best. We're probably going to do it in the church facility and we'll just have people pop up and read the next complaint. And we think that involves people, which is really important. And your idea of having school kids, whoever, if they can read it and project it and do it in some theatrical way, I think it really presses the point of what this was all about. And I think the more the merrier if you can get somebody to read individually each one of those things. And our plan is to just have them pop up in the audience. And then we're going to try to do some patriotic songs with it as well. Get our music people involved in it. So
I love that.
Great. This is great. So we are going to have you all help us promote the Dare to Declare throughout the region. And we may end up taking some of the clips from what you just did and asking permission to put it out there at some point. Excellent. This has been a very productive meeting for me. Gave us some good ideas of what we could try to push countywide in each region as it makes sense. So thank you very much. We will be back next month and in your own backyard in the next few weeks. So please keep in touch. We went over a little bit of time, but go for the Declaration of Independence 9-minute and 44 video reading. It's pretty fantastic. So thank you for everything you're doing and please keep in touch and we will be following up and please, you know where we are.
Okay. Thank you.
Onward. Thank you. See you soon. Do you have some follow-up, Em? You okay with that?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll include the Emily Sneff. You just want the YouTube video of them reading, or do you want the Dare to Declare website going out in the follow-up email for the meeting?
What do you think?
Well, the website's not fully done yet, so I don't know if you want that going out to people.
I would say it's okay because you're just kind of pushing out the idea.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would separate them so they have links on things too. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
put that. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Do you need anything else before your 1 o'clock? Are you all set up in the conference room?
You can make time fly. Do you need sandwiches or anything?
There's one of the boys.
I think we're good.
The other
Thanks,
two
Em.
are downstairs.
Oh, okay.
That's
good.
Worked great until they started showing up and yakking.
Oh, that's why you guys got loud. All right. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.